Hello class, welcome to lesson 0.3. This lesson is all about grading policies. Notice that grading policies is in red. This is the title of your lesson. You should write this in your notes now. Our opening question states, name 3 ways you are graded. Remember to write the opening question in your notes before we move on. First, I want to talk about your daily and weekly points. There are going to be certain points that you are able to earn towards your grade that happen on a daily and weekly basis. The first of your daily points is your daily check-in. The daily check-in earns you 5 points per day. That's a maximum of 25 points per week towards your grade. Remember that the daily check-in must be done in the first 5 minutes of class. It must be completed silently. The next thing that you can earn daily points for is the cell phone policy. Following the cell phone policy will get you 10 points per day. This means that your phone is in your assigned slot by the time the bell rings, and you are not getting up to check it. You will not get the daily points for your cell phone if you are getting out of your seat to go and check your phone. The third thing that you're being graded on is actually a weekly point value. Beginning shortly after we finish Unit 0, we'll begin academic conversations. These will happen most weeks. On the weeks that the academic conversations happen, you must participate in these conversations. They will take place at your groups or tables. I will give you a topic, and during the academic conversation, you must be on topic. Again, these conversations will be held weekly, and they'll be no more than 10 minutes. I will provide you with a topic that will be related to what we're learning in the unit we're on. And they'll happen on Fridays. So if there is a week that we don't have school on Friday, we're not going to have an academic conversation. Just know that daily and weekly points can't be recovered. You either get them or you don't. So you either do the daily check-in or you don't do it. Not doing and earning these points will eventually hurt your grade. So make sure that you're following your daily and weekly points. However, if you are absent, these points will not count against your grade. The next thing you're graded on are folder checks. In your folder, when I do a folder check, I'm looking for notes for any lessons that you've completed the video and the notes. The notes themselves are not graded. However, if they are not in your folder, you will lose points on a folder check. Folder checks will be completed 3 times per unit minimum. That means each unit, I'm going to check 3 times to make sure everything you're supposed to have is in your folder. Folder checks are 20 points per check. This means you can earn a total of 60 points per quarter for folder checks. Besides your notes, your unit agenda should be in your folder. So if you've lost your unit agenda, I suggest you ask for another one. You should also have any assignments that have been graded. Do not leave your finished work in the folder. If it is finished, remember it goes in the bin. When it is graded, I will return it to your folder, and you should leave it there until the unit assessment. You should also keep your unfinished assignments in your folder. This way you have easy access to them when you're ready to work on them. And remember to keep your graded assignments in here. So these are the things I will be checking on a folder check. You will also receive a copy of the Mastery Check rubric. I want you to be able to see on Mastery Checks and most assignments how you're being assessed. The next thing you're being graded on are your assignments. Assignments are worth 5 points. These are graded for completion. You will earn all 5 points if you have answered every question. They don't have to be right. It just has to show that you made an effort to complete them. Your must-dos are graded. So these are the assignments. If it is a must-do assignment, you'll get the 5 points for it. Should-do assignments are not graded. Sometimes you will be asked to do these as part of revising a mastery check. However, you will not earn any points for these. And aspire to do assignments when we have them are extra credit. You'll get extra points for doing the aspire to dos. Every assignment, you must complete every question to get the 5 points. You must show that you made a sincere quality effort to answer all the questions. If you answer IDK, you will not receive credit for that question on the assignment, and you will lose points for it. The next thing that you will be graded on are your mastery checks. You can see at the right the rubric that you will have a copy of and will need to put in your folder. In the first column, you can see that the rubric, you'll receive a score of 5 to 10. What that means is your minimum grade is a 5, which in terms of a report card grade is a 50. You won't receive less than a 50 on a mastery check. The next column is the descriptive criteria. This is the criteria I use when I'm looking at them. So the third column shows you your self-rating. Sometimes I will ask you to rate yourself on this scale. You can use the comments and the statements here to rate yourself. And finally are your next steps. What does your score mean and what do you need to do? So if ever you have a question about your score on the mastery check, come to the rubric and check your next steps. Notice if you score a 7, a 6, or a 5, you need to revise. And in the next steps columns, it tells you exactly what you need to do to revise in order to retake the mastery check. A mastery check must be requested from me. This means that this part of the lesson must be done in school. If I am out of the building, you also may not complete a mastery check. These are graded on the 10-point rubric, and they are graded for accuracy. So if it is wrong, it is wrong. In order to move on to the next lesson, you must score an 8 or better on your mastery check. If you receive a 7 or less, you must revise before you can retake the mastery check. If you score a 7, you need to rewatch the lesson video and review the notes. If you score a 6, you must complete the should do's plus rewatch the lesson video and review your notes. And if you score a 5, you must meet with me plus do everything in 6 and 7 before you can request a retake on the mastery check. The final way you will be scored are assessments. Assessments are your chance to show what you know within a unit. These are always worth 20 points. They are completed as a whole class. So in your agenda, you will see a scheduled date for these assessments. Understand that all other grades close before the assessment, so you have to make sure you're staying on pace to get all your work done. Assessments are graded for accuracy. So if you get a question wrong, it reduces your score. The assessments will also use the 10-point rubric for scoring if it is a writing or presentation assignment. So if you score a 10, that would be 100. If you score a 9, that is actually going to be an 80 on the assessment. Okay, that's the end. So your next step now is to put these notes in your folder. You should now move on and complete the lesson 0.3 assignment. After the lesson 0.3 assignment, you can prove you understood this lesson by completing the lesson 0.3 mastery check. And remember, you must get the mastery check from me. Now, don't forget to go back and answer your opening question in your notes.